DJ, play that music. Did you enjoy that intro ASMR?
I did. I enjoy it every time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Restitching the Tapestry. As of this recording, it is Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. We are not even halfway through February, and this year has felt like a decade. I don't know about how you feel, but it's felt like a decade to me.
How is it only Wednesday?
How is it only February 11th? It feels like it should be June by now. But I don't know, and we'll be unpacking that in a little bit. But Ari, how have you been? What have you been up to?
My mom always says that February lasts a really long time and that to get to the end of February is just going to take forever.
Yeah, it does feel that way. How have you been managing February?
Uh, in my personal life, it's been going okay. I am overeating a lot. Um, I am working out. I have not left my house very much.
Well, I mean, considering how horrible it is outside, like, I will not judge you on that at all.
No, actually, it's really nice out. It's the weather. We're in a fall spring right now.
We are. It has been, like, getting a little bit warmer, which is great because throughout late January and early this month, I don't know about you, but I've been having some really bad seasonal depression. And, like, this year's been worse than it has been in a long time, and I attribute that to the fact that it's been, like, 0 degrees for 3 weeks, and now we're finally warm, and I saw the sun the other day and I almost cried over it. I literally sat on the sofa with the cat just laying in the sun like a little sad plant that's withered away that needs to come back.
I struggle around this time of year because when the weather starts to get better, I struggle with delusions and mania a little bit,
Mhm.
especially with like what's happening in the news.
Yeah.
So I've just been like trying to like reality check and like keep myself stable.
Mhm.
So I've been kind of working on keeping myself like even keel. I shouldn't consume as much media as I have been, but it's hard to look away.
You know, that's been my struggle too because and my therapist and I have been having this conversation of, like, my need to, like, take some breaks, especially from, like, the news as it's represented on the media. And it's I mean, it's hard to look away, like you were saying, because the truth is, like, these things are hugely impactful, and if we look away permanently, what are we doing in effect, right? We're just and that's why we're gonna be talking a lot about this during the current event snapshot because, frankly, like, we have to address the things that have been happening. However, I will say, even though the current event snapshot today is gonna be a lot, I will say that since Valentine's Day is in a few days, our topic today is love languages. So worry not, there will be some uplifting, I guess, optimism after we get through the news. And I'm hoping we'll have a little bit of fun. So, Ari, do you want to read the mission statement?
I would love to. Here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We live in a dynamic society where social media shapes us by creating greater opportunities for connection. It has led to a developing understanding of the adversity many marginalized communities face, the power causing the adversity, and those who act as bystanders as atrocities take place in real time. Our goal with this show is to make connections and have challenging conversations about social topics, current events, pop culture, and art. Together, let's weave the threads of understanding with what privilege we have in order to learn, educate, and create in a world that's growing.
Yeah. I really am sitting with those words. I think we said this last episode too. a month and a half of this year, it has felt like one thing after another, one atrocity after another. And I want to preface the conversation we're about to have by saying that it's it's okay for it to be difficult. Like it's okay to feel exhausted by it. It's okay to feel uncertain. Like your feelings are valid. Our feelings are valid, right? But at the same time, I do think as a means to protect democracy and human rights and community, we have to have the conversations. We have to acknowledge the bad things happening in order to carve out a path towards something better, right? I don't know how do you feel?
I feel it the same way. I feel as though it's okay to feel angry because I've been feeling angry, but it's okay to feel numb and not sure exactly how to respond in the situation because there's so many big things happening. And it's sort of, I made a TikTok where it's sort of like you're just getting slammed in the face with all of these like big things, and
Mhm.
there's so much bigger than just like you or me or this situation. They're just like hitting us in the face, and there's very little that we as individuals can do about it.
Right.
So I mean, it should, like, there are things we can do. We are not powerless as a society. There are things we can do and things that we can call for, and there are calls to action that we can do. You are not powerless, and that's the thing, is that they want you to feel powerless in this situation, but you are not powerless.
Yeah. They rely on you feeling like they know this makes you feel small, and they know that it makes you feel helpless or makes all of us feel helpless. But as a community, like there is power in solidarity when we are able to use it. And I think that's why protest is important. I think that's why, of course, voting is always important. And like using your, you know, voices to call politicians, reach out to representatives and just be like, this is not acceptable.
The thing about it is, and someone told me this online, that it's like Steve Bannon came up with this concept that if you commit 100 atrocities a day, people only have the spoons to deal with like maybe one or a couple of the things. And so eventually you just like overwhelm people, because if
Mhm.
you're doing 100 atrocities a day, you're just like churning and burning through all of this stuff. And it takes like a long time to undo all of the bad stuff that they're doing. And so it's a spoon theory. It's like I only have so much energy and so much time because I have things that I've got going on in my day. Like I don't have time to just dedicate it to undoing all of the stuff that these evil men are doing. So
Mhm.
I, because they're dedicating, they don't have anything to do. They don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if they're committing 100 atrocities a day, things are going to slip through.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so I understand the feeling of overwhelm
Yeah.
and the feeling of exhaustion, because when they're doing all of this bad stuff, things slip through the cracks, and it's like waiting out for the end, and just like the effects of what we're dealing with are going to be felt for a long time after this.
Yeah.
And it was like his last term that we were still feeling the effects of his presidency the last time.
Yeah. I keep thinking, like sometimes I like I get overwhelmed too, and I have to like pan out and just think, how is history going to regard these last 8 years, right? I really do think historians are going to be studying this time for a long time. They're going to study the lack of accountability, the atrocities. They're going to be studying the I don't know, the collective Stockholm syndrome that an entire swath of people seems to experience, and the fact that they continue to support these powers that be that just insist on erasing people, minimizing people, not holding accountability for themselves whatsoever. Like, it's going to really be a game changer, I think, for a lot of things, especially politics after all of this is said and done.
Well, I hope it's not like George W. Bush, because people are starting to romanticize George W. Bush, that he wasn't the worst president in history because Trump is worse. And they're like, he was kind of quaint actually, and he's kind of cute, and he is cute with Mrs. Obama, and isn't he funny?
I don't think, like, the bar is in hell at this point, but I don't think that we should leave any room for the bar to even go lower. So why look back, and romanticize like that? Like, I think it's counterintuitive. And I mean, I think people think of those times because the early 2000s, the economy was great. There was at least some semblance of decorum,
The
but
economy wasn't great under Bush. Bush
it
trashed
is
the economy.
exactly. Well, I mean, I'm talking about like the super duper early 2000s. Like as the 2000s went along, like
Because
it got really bad.
Bill Clinton had a
Mhm.
surplus and he trashed the surplus.
Yeah,
But I'm not saying that Bill Clinton was great either, because
no,
especially what we've learned about Bill Clinton, he's not exactly the greatest guy.
right. No, so I do think that history is going to look on this time and just be like, what the hell? Like what? And I think collectively, we're all experiencing such a depleted bandwidth because we just keep being I do feel like our population is just traumatized when you think about it, because we literally witnessed the live execution of two people in the last month and a half,
And then they lied about
right?
it.
And then lied about it, and then insisted on painting these individuals as being domestic terrorists, right? So that brings us to the first thing on our current event snapshot. So within a few days of our prior episode being recorded, which is why we didn't get to talk about it in the prior episode, in Minneapolis, another protester was murdered by ICE. This person's name was Alex Pretti, and he was a registered nurse. He worked with veterans, and like a lot of people saw the video of what happened. Essentially, he was observing. He was an observer, and he was observing the protest and recording it on his phone. And an ICE agent like knocked a woman down, and he went to check on her, and then they just swamped him. They multiple people like swamped him and then disarmed him because he was concealed carrying. And then within like seconds, as he was on the ground, he was shot multiple times. And of course, like there were so many like people who witnessed it and like were horrified. And of course, because of social media, like we've all witnessed it. But of course, as a result, the powers that be are trying to control the narrative by saying, oh, this person was an aggressor, but the video evidence completely, you know, speaks out against like the narrative that's being woven, right? I remember that day, like I spent that whole day just horrified. I'm still horrified, but I remember that day I was just like, I could not believe that it's happened again. So
It's made me kind of scared to leave the house, honestly, because it's just like, what's going to happen out
mhm,
there?
yeah.
And even in my house, it makes me scared. I mean, I'm in a smaller town, but you just, there's a fear. There's a fear of what's going to happen if
Yeah.
they are killing citizens. I mean, they'll kill everybody,
Yeah.
anybody,
Yeah.
anybody is at risk. And I'm not saying that we weren't at risk before, but it's saying that that there is no rule of law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I feel that same fear too, like, you know, going to work, going shopping, like I'm lucky that I'm as privileged as I am, but then it goes to show you, like, I mean, the two people who were murdered the last month and a half have had a considerable amount of privilege themselves. So at this point, I think those of us who are privileged must realize that even privilege can't protect us against everything,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And that's it. They say first they come for the people who are the most weakest, and the people who are
Vulnerable.
at risk. And then when you don't stick up for them, because Black Lives Matter, and they came for George Floyd, and when nobody did anything about George Floyd and the police, then ICE came, and they're starting to come for all the rest of us. They're coming
Hmm.
for the liberals, they're coming for the reporters, they're coming for everyone else. And when that doesn't come, their authoritarian control will be complete.
Exactly. And I think the other thing, because like there's still a large swath of people, especially conservatives, who aren't worried at all when this whole situation surrounding Alex Pretti, like like he was legally concealed carrying in the state of Minnesota, and a lot of conservatives were basically attacking the fact that he was concealed carrying. And so obviously that's the Second Amendment. The supporters of the Second Amendment should feasibly still uplift that. So it's like it's something that they care about when it fits their convenience.
So I was watching the Senate hearings, and did you know that they're trying to lock up politicians now too?
I did see that, yes. Hmm. They're trying
So
to like indict them on like a whole variety of different things, ranging from like I think it was Alyssa Slotkin, like she and a few other Congress people made like a video that basically said that uh, for people in armed services, it's okay to not, you know,
follow
obey
illegal orders.
like illegal orders. Yeah. And then they were trying to like use the legal system to weaponize the legal system against people using their freedom of speech, which that is what that is, right?
I also watched Pam Bondi's Senate oversight hearing, and about the Epstein Files, and
Mm.
that was awful. She
The
just basically
okay,
talked about immigrants.
yeah, the okay, so that's the next thing in our current event snapshot is the Epstein files. Like we could do a whole series of episodes on this because there's so much to unpack. Ari, where do we even begin?
I don't know if I can ever watch another movie ever again, like,
Mhm.
or watch TV. Like, I'll always like. I'm kind of like, if somebody comes and says that they're a celebrity, I think I might have to like look them up on the Epstein files to see if they like are on the
Mm.
list.
Right. That's the horrifying thing. It's so all encompassing. It's so all encompassing. And like what was revealed, and mind you, like there's still so many redactions, right?
And they
Um,
just removed pages today too.
yeah, they just removed pages. And what, but then again, like, so like we don't know what else is in them necessarily. So
Yeah.
like, I mean, we could like a lot what we've seen has been horrifying, but there could be more horrors that we have to anticipate. So I don't know, like I firmly believe that this is probably one of the biggest scandals in our nation's entire history.
I think that it makes me so mad and angry and horrified and
Mhm.
numb. Like, I want to scream, but I'm afraid that my neighbors will call the cops.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I want to like hit something. I want to break something, but I'm like, that's just going to break my stuff.
I wanna, like, write about it, but, like, I've been so numb to everything that I've even struggled to find the words to write.
I just
That's
like I want to like take action, but there's like
mhm,
nothing to do. It's like it's all pointless. It's all pointless because they're they're just gonna stay in power.
mhm.
I feel I feel so, and that's the thing, like that's what I was talking about earlier. It makes you feel like there's so many systems of control and that you are powerless, but you are
Mhm.
not powerless. There are
Right.
things that you can do to, and that's why I
So
was watching the Senate hearings, is
even
because
as we speak, we're trying to, like, work through that conditioning, right?
mhm.
Of, like, we can't do anything. And I do think it's important to stay aware, to stay informed in general, to vote. I really hope that the midterm elections, like, and I'm trying to be really optimistic about them. I hope the midterm elections are a game changer.
You can call your senators and yell at your
Mhm.
senators and be like, do something about this.
Yeah.
Make them do something.
I mean, I won't lie, like, there is at least some sort of joint effort. Um, is it Senator Ro Khanna and a conservative senator? Are they representatives? I can't remember if they're senators or representatives, but they have been, like, jointly trying to lead this effort to unredact the Epstein Files and reveal them, so I do think there is some sort of effort happening. I just wish it was a little bit more expedient. If not for, like, not just for, like, the well-being of everything, but, like, for the well-being of Epstein's victims, right?
Yeah, and
So
it's just like I just want them all to pay. I want all of those bad guys to pay. I want all the co-conspirators to pay. And Pam Bondi was like, "But the system would collapse." And I'm like, "Good.
maybe that's the point.
I want all these people to go to jail."
They should be held accountable. I don't care what political affiliation they have. Accountability is accountability, right? So, but we'll as we continue on with the season, we will continue reporting on the Epstein files. There's so much to unpack, and it feels like every week there seems to be some new batch of information to present. So, the one other thing that I wanted to talk about is, per a Trump directive, the pride flag was removed outside of the Stonewall monument in New York, which is probably one of the most quintessential pieces of LGBTQ plus history. So,
Oh, outside of Stonewall?
yeah, so that's been causing, like, a huge stir, understandably, and I really think that it's just, like, the latest example of the powers that be just not only are they not being transparent, but they are trying to, like, minimize entire groups of people, and we gotta continue drawing attention to that. It doesn't feel good to have to, but we must, right? So, well, my big question for you, Ari, and I think I'm hoping this question may help everyone think about this too, is like, how are you handling all the news while taking care of your bandwidth and your mental health despite all of the horrifying things being revealed?
Well, I am meditating and I'm eating a lot of good food and I'm exercising. I'm trying to maintain a schedule. That's the thing. It's just like trying to find comfort in normalcy. I think
Mhm,
like trying to, even if I like fake it, like going to the gym and working out for half an hour and eating something when I feel like I need to, maybe not cream cheese or pizza, but I've been stress eating. I did eat pizza the other day and I was like grossed out by it, but I ate it anyway.
how am I dealing with all of this? Again, for me, I think creating a routine. I've also been just trying to, like, keep myself busy, like, with school stuff, especially, like, I've just been, I've been really mentally relying a lot on, like, being in this classroom. I'm hoping that I can, like, try to, like, shape some future that is better than what we're experiencing right now, but but also I am looking forward to this is a horrible segue. I'm looking forward to Valentine's Day.
I haven't thought about it. I am single and I have been talking to a couple people online.
Oh,
Yeah.
via the apps,
Yeah, via Tinder.
via Tinder.
But
Any prospects? Any?
nothing serious, just kind of like chatting, but you know, it was fun.
That's good though. You know, it doesn't have to be serious, right?
Yeah.
I think we're just probably gonna go out to dinner for Valentine's Day or something. But Ari, it's okay. Like self-love on Valentine's Day too. Like, do we love ourselves? I should love
Oh,
myself.
I have fully committed to the fact that I'm going to be single for the rest of my life because I don't need no man. I don't need no woman. I'm here by myself. I am the best person ever, and I don't need anybody to be single for the rest of my life. I don't have to put up with another person.
Well, you know, Ari, I may have made you a Valentine's card.
I made you a Valentine's card too.
Of course we did. So here's your Valentine's card.
Ooh.
Look at my terrible heart. I'm not an artist, everyone.
I think it's cute.
It looks like an ass.
It does look like a butt.
You were like trying to find a way to say something nice about, but then you were like, actually.
It's a cute butt though. It's like a little heart-shaped butt.
Well, I did write you a little Valentine's poem on the interior. Roses are red. This world has me blue. To survive this dystopian hellscape, I'm glad I get to do this with you.
Ah, that's cute.
Oh, Ari's gonna show me theirs.
Yeah, I just have to make it bigger. There it is.
Oh. That to me, my favorite Smarty. Happy Valentine's Day. That is so cute.
Yeah.
I love a good
Like,
Smarty.
because you're my favorite Smarty Pants because you're so insightful and smart, and I was like, I wanted to make like a little second grade Valentine. So I was like, what do I like about Donny? And I was like, Donny's so smart. He's a smarty.
Do you know what's ironic? And I was just thinking this today. Remember, like, I feel like when we were kids, like, we just had so much more fun on Valentine's Day because we literally brought in Valentines for everyone in our classes. Do you remember that?
Exactly. That's
Why
why
don't
I
we do
made
that
one.
anymore? Why don't we
That's
do
why
that
I
anymore?
made one. Is because it's fine to make Valentines for all of the people, and it's part of the love languages. It hits the gift giving and words of affirmation to your
Yes. Oh my God, it's so true. I really think we need to just normalize that. Let's do Valentine's Day for everybody, not just couples, right?
mhm.
So, well, okay. So this whole episode we wanted to focus on love languages because were you ever like that teenager who went on the internet and you were like, I'm going to take a quiz. I'm going to learn about myself.
BuzzFeed quizzes.
Or like way back when, oh, it was something else. Quizzilla.
Quizzilla.
Do you
Oh, of
remember
course.
Quizzilla?
I love me a good quiz. Give me a good quiz.
So, like, one of my favorite quizzes to do is always what is your love language, your preferred love language? What is like the dynamic that you like? How do you function in a relationship? How do you view yourself, right? So, I think before we dive into our love languages, because Ari and I assessed our own love languages, of course.
Mhm.
Let's define what each of the love languages are so everyone knows.
Words of affirmation, communicating affection through spoken and written praise, affection, appreciation, encouragement, and frequent I love yous.
Mm. And then there's quality time, Expressing love by fully focusing attention on your partner through shared activities, conversation, and togetherness.
Physical touch, showing care through intimate, affectionate physical content like hugging and kissing.
And then there is acts of service, doing thoughtful deeds and gestures to help make your partner's life easier by relieving burdens.
And then finally, receiving gifts, giving meaningful surprises and symbolic presents to celebrate affection.
Uh, I love it. I love it. So, Ari, what so the big question is what are your love languages? Like what is your setup? Like how like what are your percentages?
I don't remember what my percentages were. I just know what my top one was words of affirmation.
Well, Ari, I happen to have yours here because I'm obsessive. Because Ari sent me them earlier, and I was just like, "Ooh, let's do a deep dive and analyze Ari." So yours was quality time.
Was it quality time?
It was quality time, actually. The one that you sent me was quality
Oh, the
time.
first one I did was words of affirmation. So I
I'm
like
sure it can
quality time.
vary. Yeah, so your quality time was 30%.
Ooh.
Acts of service was 27%.
Ooh.
Words of affirmation was third at 23.
Ooh.
Physical touch is your fourth, and then your last is receiving gifts.
This does not surprise me at all.
It's interesting. Ours are surprisingly similar. So for mine, my top is words of affirmation at 37%. That's the
Oh.
only percentage I could find or see because the stupid site wasn't working for me. Number 2 place for me was quality time. So those probably are really tied closely. Number 3 is physical touch, although Britt would argue that that would be my number 1 because I'm always bugging him. That's literally Britt's lowest.
Oh, is it really?
He's like a very like to himself person, so like physical touch is not always like his favorite thing, but it's one of my favorite things. Number 4 is acts of service, and then my last one also is receiving gifts. I don't need a gift. I just need a person.
Yeah. You just need to
Right.
like hold hands and be cute and KISSING.
So, okay, when you saw those results for yourself, like what was your reaction?
Um, so quality time doesn't surprise me because I've taken tests before, and it has said that quality time is high up for me. Like I I've taken tests before and it said quality time is high for
Mhm.
me. I love spending time with people um because we only have so much time. Like you can spend like $1 million on somebody or like hundreds of thousands of dollars or like, but if it doesn't mean anything unless you spend time together or you tell each other how you care about each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
money and gifts are just, to me, empty gestures.
Yeah, to me, it's
Compared
just
to,
material. It's
right.
not to say that I don't enjoy a gift every now and then, like, or enjoy giving a gift. I really struggle with giving gifts because I also get up in my head about, like, what if it's not good enough, right? It all comes back down to, like, that self-deprecation thing, but for me, like, when I saw my results, I was not surprised that words of affirmation was my number 1 because I'm just a wordy person. I pride myself in being very communicative. In fact, Britt would argue that I'm over communicative, but that's besides the point.
I It does not surprise me that words of affirmation is your highest because you often will give me words of affirmation and you will
Oh,
often pull me into doing words of affirmation as well. And I love doing words of affirmation to you. It is my favorite thing to give you words of affirmation. gives me warm fuzzies to give you words of affirmation
Oh,
because I know that you'll appreciate it.
I so will. Like, I cry over words of affirmation. Like, it's so cringy, but I do so love. Well, and I think words are powerful, right? And
Right.
and I think if we can use them for good and to uplift people,
Hmm.
you know, granted, like I do think, and I think we talked about this during the last episode, where like if you overdo something too much, it might make people pose the question of like, is this genuine? Right?
It is genuine though. I definitely feel those things about you and it makes me feel good to give you those things and because if you don't tell people how you feel, then they don't know.
Right, right. No, and I feel like they're genuine too. Like I've just had some people be like, "Well, you're like really like open and lovey-dovey, Donnie. Like, is this like are you just
Oh,
performing?" And I'm like, "No, that's really how I feel."
I've always believed you.
I love love. I am a hopeless like I may not be as obnoxious about being a hopeless romantic like I used to be, because you remember those days, Ari. I basically was Juliet on the balcony. But I'm still a hopeless romantic. And when it comes to like friendships, I do think that like I do think love languages apply to any sort of relationship, not just.
Maybe it's because I believe in the let them theory that people will tell you who they are. And
Mhm.
so when you give words of affirmation, that's just telling who you are.
Yeah, yeah. And when it comes to quality time, like I do love quality time. Quality time is hugely important, and in fact, I think that, like, quality time really demonstrates, like, the amount of energy a person wants to invest in you or vice versa, like so, like, if somebody doesn't want to spend quality time, like, I always am wondering, like, "Oh, am I not do you not like to be around me?" kind of a thing. I know that's not always the case, right? But I love
That
quality
that's
time.
why I miss our podcast. It's because that's what we dedicate this
This
specific hour to like spending time together and like having this like quality time to like chat and do stuff. But
Mm.
I gotta tell you, when we didn't have our podcast, I really missed it.
I did like, don't get me wrong, like, I think the time off was creatively good because we had so much stuff going on, but I really did miss it, and I missed you.
Yeah,
Like
I just miss spending time with you, and I just missed being around you because you're one of my best friends.
right back at you. And so, like well, and admittedly, at my wedding in November, I was tipsy, but I was, like, so emotional over seeing well, it was I think it was our first time seeing each other in probably
A couple years.
in person in a few years, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you being there and celebrating with me, like, was so huge, and, of course, like, I was just, like, gushing to you, being like, "Ari," and we were dancing drunkenly, it was great.
It was great. I was so happy. I still remember that night. I still get worked up about that night. I'll think about it every so often, and I'm just like, "That was a good day."
It was a really good day. I would hope it would be a good day for me because it was an important day, right? But, like, it was so good. It was and I had so much fun. And
Yeah.
again, like, I think we said on the return episode this at the beginning of the season, like, I think the wedding and us, like, drunkenly talking while we were dancing on the dance floor was what was the catalyst that got us to bring the show back.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was just like pretend this is me with, like I was like, "Ari" Gaga blaring in the background. "What? Like, let's do it." Like,
Let's do it.
"Yeah, let's do it." Not the Coolidge. "Let's do our show, Ari." "Yeah." I would never win an Oscar for my impressions.
It was a good impression.
Speaking of cringe, when Donnie decides to do an impression. Oh my god, where were we? We kind of
How do you use your love languages in your personal relationships today? What are some examples of you using your love languages?
so when it comes to like being married to Brit, so like we've had several years to kind of figure out our love languages. Like I think words of affirmation is more so mine than his. He doesn't need as much validation as I do. But like for him, I think acts of service is probably one of the most important ones. Like between quality, I feel like quality time and acts of service for him are like pretty equivalent. They kind of vary from time to time. So like he really appreciates when you like, take initiative to do things. I mean, these are like cleaning the house. Like obviously that's something that you should just do anyway. You don't need to do it out of motivation to please somebody. But like one appreciates it when that happens. And I like he really values just like spending time together, going out and doing things. And it's interesting because for me, acts of service never used to be a thing because I always was so used to doing things by myself. So like now when somebody else acts on that, it's like, oh, okay. Like I have to accept this act of service even though I didn't ask for it. Like
When someone does something for you.
biological computer processing glitch. What's happening?
See, the thing is, I've never been in a relationship where somebody went out of their way to do something for me specifically. Like
Mhm.
was thoughtful in a relationship enough to do an act of service for me.
Wow.
Like, I think the most I've ever had was I had one of my boyfriends brought me food from because he was living in another city and he brought me food one day.
Oh,
And that was like the nicest thing and that that's sort of gift giving more than acts of service.
yeah. I mean, it's both. I feel like it can kind of go into both categories, right?
Mhm.
But I think that's why it's so shocking to me, though, like acts of service, because similar, like prior to Brit, any other person I had been with really didn't follow through with things or take that level of initiative. So like when I did start experiencing acts of service, like it was like a shock to my system. Sometimes it still is. Several years later, I'm just like, how do I accept kindness, right? When I spent so long not being used to that. And then
Yeah.
it made me realize, why did I put up with all of that bullshit for so long from so many people?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys, a lot of people that I was with, they don't use their love languages very well. Like a lot
Mhm.
of a lot of straight men, their love language is physical touch
Mhm.
because they're very like physical people,
Mhm.
but they they do it in a way that like is objectifying.
Yeah. Yeah. We know what it's for.
Yeah.
Um, no, it's interesting that you mentioned that because it also made me think about words of affirmation or communication in general. Like I've in every relationship sans now, I've always been like the stronger communicator, and I always would find myself just getting so angry at someone's inability to communicate in general. Like I might send like a really thoughtful text and then I would get back, "Hey, period." And I'm just like, "Bitch, like I just
But
sent you a chapter by chapter novel."
I don't mind that someone's love language is physical touch, if they wanna hug me or if they wanna, like, you know, be lovey-dovey on me and things like that,
Mhm.
that's one thing, as long as they reciprocate and, you know, fulfill my love languages as well.
Yeah, well, because it's all about that give and take. Like we have love languages that we have as it applies to receiving, and then we have love languages about like as it applies to like how we our output, let's just say, right?
Right, because
And
I don't mind fulfilling their love languages and, you know, giving them that physical touch or
right.
giving them physical things if that's their love language, but, you know.
As long as it's within reason, right? Like I feel like part of having a successful relationship, at least this is what I've learned. I'm not saying that this is perfect, the end all be all, but I feel like we have to be comfortable enough with the person to acknowledge that their love languages are different, that we might have to, you know, experiment with other love languages, right? Like, for example, like, gift giving is my least favorite for a variety of different reasons, but I think gift giving is Brit's third one, potential, if memory serves me correctly. If we think of the first two as tied, right, that I talked about earlier, so, like, over the course of the last 7 years, I've had to consciously think about gift giving. Okay, so gift giving, how can I strengthen myself at doing that? Like, how can I, you
Oh,
know,
handmade gifts.
handmade gifts, or listening to what people like if there's straight dudes do not listen at all whatsoever. Like, I'm constantly seeing like these TikToks of especially like women just being frustrated that, like, oh, say like them and their husband makes plans with a friend, and the husband is responsible for the communication, but he doesn't get all the details. So there's left with like, well, what do we wear? Like, what's the setting? What time do we show up? And he just didn't care about
Hey,
getting that
if you want to
information.
make a Valentine for Brit and write a poem for Brit that's like a super nice poem, I'll make a Valentine for him. Like I'll do like a graphic design using your poem,
Oh,
and like
that
so
would be
you
so
so
cute.
you can print it off and give it to him on Valentine's Day.
It's interesting. One of my first gifts to him was a poem that I wrote. Like,
Yeah, because that's using your gifts to do something for him, and I could help out, and I could help you make a nice.
I would love that. Random side note, like the poem Snow Day in my first book, that is that poem I gifted him, and it made it to the book. I was like, it's gotta be in the book, right? I love a good love poem. But then again, words of affirmation, right? So, well, how else do you use your love languages in your day-to-day relationships?
So my mom is home alone all day, and so I spend quality time with my mom. We'll go out to lunch, or we'll go down to the beach, or I'll just go over to her house and spend time with her and talk to her during the day. Um, so I'm using that quality time to spend time with her, um, because she gets lonely.
Mhm. Yeah. So, like, not only does that probably fulfill her need for quality time, but I'm sure it does something for yours too.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, my mom, and I will often give my mom words of affirmation, because these are things that I do to help, because it's my love language. It's something that I think other people would like. I don't know what my mom's love language is, so maybe I should find out. um,
I'm sure, like, if you thought about, like, prior experiences, you might be able to piece it together.
because I know she doesn't really like a whole lot of gifts anymore, because she's like, I have everything I need.
Yeah. For my parents specifically, I think their top love language is either quality time or acts of service, because they love, like, getting help with things and, like, so on and so forth. And maybe, and the truth is, I do think that, like you were just mentioning your mom not really needing gifts, I think our love languages can change as we age and as we develop more experiences.
Yeah.
When I was in college, I can guarantee you that physical touch was probably my top love language.
Yeah, when I was young, it was probably physical touch when I was like in my 20s.
And mind you, it's not that we don't enjoy physical touch still. Like, trust me, like, I love me a physical touch. But I
I'm
do like,
like, I'm old. I'm like, leave me alone.
I'm just like, dust off the cobwebs, bitch. Let's go. I can't believe I just said that.
Although I have talked about, maybe it's just because I haven't had people cuddle with me in so long. And that's the thing, is that I haven't had other people like,
I love cuddling.
and that's the thing, is I haven't, I do like the idea of cuddling with another person.
Yeah. Since Brit's love language is not physical touch, he's not always the hugest fan of cuddling, but that's why I have cats.
Yeah, that's why I have a cat. I
The
don't need a guy to do that. I can cuddle with my
the
cat.
cats, like, I literally I'll be like, "I'm cuddly, I need to go find a cat." I'll just go, like, snuggle Gaby for a while, and he doesn't object, so
Yeah, my cat's very specific about the times that he wants to come and hang out with me. Like he'll be like, "I have granted you a time in which I'm going to cuddle with you." And I feel very blessed when he decides that it's time to cuddle. And I don't want to move because I don't want to upset the apple cart.
but you also respect his boundaries, right? See, like, I do think another added thing about love languages is that in excess, anything can be a bad thing, or too little of something can be a bad thing. So
Yeah.
there's always, like, this right ratio, like, consent is important, right?
Yeah.
I think that could be why gift giving is a struggle of mine, like, not to unpack it, but, like, because I used to have people in my life a long time ago who would, like, who would use gift giving as, like, a means to, like, guilt you into something, you
Oh,
know?
like I give you this, now you have to do this for me.
Yes, or they would just kind of, like, overwhelm you with gifts, and it's just like, I don't like, what am I supposed to do, right? Um, so I do think that, like, love languages can absolutely be weaponized against people, and I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's important for us to balance our use of them.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way too. Because when somebody gives you something, I get kind of suspicious about it sometimes. Like
Intention, yeah.
intention, like first of all, it's like I first make a mental note, like I probably have to give this person a gift back.
Yeah, like, so there is, like, a kind of, like, an expectation that's created. In some ways, I think acts of service can kind of feel like that too. Like, especially if it's somebody you don't know performing an act of service, it's like, what are we doing? Like,
Like
do I know you?
how close are we?
Yeah, it's like, okay. And heaven forbid if it's a stranger physical touch, it's like, granted, when I was in college, I was just like, bring me the cuddles, anybody, anything, everywhere, all at once.
Have you ever had a stranger like walk up to you and just like hug you?
All right, I've had a stranger walk up to me and slap my ass before. Have you been to a
No.
gay club?
I am like old ladies like walking up to me and hugging me. Like really old
Oh,
ladies like walking up to me and hugging me. And it's not such a big deal anymore, but when I was younger, it was uncomfortable.
yeah. I think you're such an approachable person.
I'm
But I
just
can understand how that would be disconcerting.
when I was younger. Well, now I'm like, you know, I'm an old lady myself, so it doesn't matter. Hug me. If you want to hug me, that's all right. You're probably got dementia or something. But when I was young, I was like scared and impressionable. I didn't know
Ari, another like physical touch with straight dudes is weird. Like, it's very unusual because, like, and I think we've talked about this on the show before, but like straight dudes have like that handshake thing that they do.
what's the handshake thing?
It's like where they do like the slap, they grab each other's fingers, and then they pull each other in for like a shoulder
The
bump and
bro
a
hug?
back slap. Yeah,
The bro hug?
nothing makes me short circuit more than like I think I can kind of do it now. But like when I first did it, I was just like, oh, like, and now I can like fake it till I make it.
That's a love language right there.
And like every time it happens, I'm just like, hey, hey, protein shake, like, hey, brotato.
Okay, last question since we're getting running out of time. How is knowing your love language for all types of relationships, uh, not just romantic relationships and intimate relationships, important?
I think it's important. I mean, for a variety of reasons, but I think it's most important because it just helps us learn about people. Like, I think it helps us understand them better. It helps us recognize boundaries. It helps us understand what people's needs and wants are. And it also allows us to kind of like demonstrate what our needs and wants are. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I think that, not just having love language for intimate relationships, but like all kinds of relationships. I think that, because we get so stuck on having just like that one person or that one partner or like that one intimate relationship, especially around Valentine's Day, there's this focus on, I have my person, and there's just like a wide variety of relationships that we have acquaintances, we have friendships, we do have our intimate partner, but we have there's so many more platonic relationships out there that are that fill out the rest of our lives, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not more important than intimate relationships that we have with our partners or with the people close to us in our lives, but they are important in their own respect.
I think that was well put. Yeah. I just think that as human beings, we thrive in community. And I think how we project ourselves and how we view ourselves is always on display, right? And I really do think like maybe love languages could make acknowledging them could make the world just a better place in general, right? Love languages on a collective communal level.
Just treating each other with more respect,
Yeah,
and maybe
exactly.
having our leaders leave kids alone.
Yeah, and hold themselves accountable for bullshit, right? Actually, so with that thought in mind, we're going to wrap up the episode. Everyone, I know things are heavy right now. I know things are dark. I know how difficult it probably feels because I've had my days too. But I think that as long as we are able to acknowledge what's happening and not fall into silence, I think that's how we are going to create a sense of solidarity and power through this and to continue holding people accountable, right? Um, I think we lose when we allow ourselves to slink away. I think it's important for us to like take breaks and to step away when we have to for our mental health and our bandwidth, but like they rely on us on not showing back up afterward, right? And I think it's important that we continue to have these conversations and continue to, you know, fight for the voiceless or for those who've been silenced and minimized. Ari, some parting words from you?
Use your love languages for good. Uh, Use your love languages for consenting
Yeah.
adults, and be in relationships that be with people who are meaningful and helpful. Be together. I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but take care of each other, love one each other,
Yeah.
be with intimate partners, be with your pets, be with friends and family, be with your community,
Yeah. Because
and
we're all in this together.
it's us against the elites.
Yeah. At this point, absolutely. So, my friends, thank you as always for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to each other's channels. Don't forget to click like for that pesky algorithm. And as always, we will continue weathering the storm together. All right. Have a great rest of your night. And we love you. And happy early Valentine's Day. Bye. Mwah.